There are objects that pass into history, and there are others that pass into mystery. The Ark of the Covenant belongs to that second category, a sacred, powerful, and vanished object, which even today raises questions all over the world. The Bible presents the Ark as something unique, the symbol of the covenant between God and Israel. It wasn't just a chest, it was a sign of presence, holiness, and obedience. Inside the Holy of Holies, the most sacred place in the temple, the Ark occupied a spot that no one could take lightly. Its transport was always a solemn act. The priests carried it with care, covering it, protecting it, as if any mistake could break something much greater than a physical object. Because the Ark represented the faith of an entire people, Jerusalem experienced times of splendor, but also of threat. The holy city was not invulnerable, and as its history progressed, the fate of the Ark began to be wrapped in silence. With the passage of time, the temple lost its glory. The most sacred place began to show emptiness, and that emptiness gave rise to one of the biggest questions in the Bible. Where did the Ark end up? One of the best-known theories says it was hidden before the destruction of Jerusalem, perhaps in a cave, perhaps in a secret chamber, perhaps in a place prepared by faithful priests who knew disaster was coming. For centuries, many have searched for clues. Maps, manuscripts, ancient traditions, all of it has been interpreted as a possible sign. But no evidence has been definitive. The mystery remains open. There's also the idea that the Ark was hidden underground, in tunnels or secret passages beneath the Temple Mount. That possibility has fueled excavations, theories, and stories for generations. Because when an object disappears in a place full of history, silence becomes suspicious. Another possibility is that the Ark was lost during the Babylonian invasion. Jerusalem was destroyed, the temple fell, and with it, many sacred treasures disappeared. In the midst of the chaos, the Ark may have been hidden, moved, or simply lost forever. The ruin of Jerusalem remains a powerful image. Where there was once prayer, there was now rubble. Where there was once glory, dust remained. And amid those ruins, a question was born that never stopped being repeated. What happened to the most sacred object in Israel? Many imagine the priests facing that moment with anguish. Perhaps they carried the Ark away in secret. Perhaps they hid it in haste. Perhaps it was their final act of faithfulness before everything changed. A hidden chamber, a dim light, a sacred chest, half covered by darkness. That image perfectly sums up the mystery of the Ark. Something that seems close, but never fully visible. Something that feels present, yet still hasn't appeared. Meanwhile, the people of Israel were living through the pain of exile. The temple was no longer there. The city was no longer as it had been. And the Ark, a symbol of everything they had lost, also became a symbol of hope. With the passage of time, the Temple Mount became one of the most closely watched places in the world. Every stone seems to hold a story. Every corner seems to hide an answer. If the Ark still exists, many believe it could still be there, hidden beneath layers of centuries. From the sky, Jerusalem seems eternal, yet also marked by its own history. And that keeps the mystery of the Ark alive, because it's not just an archaeological question. It's a spiritual, historical, and prophetic question. Under the stone temples, far from the eyes of men, there are hidden corridors that seem to have been carved to keep eternal secrets. The dampness, the darkness, and the echo of footsteps speak of a place where something was hidden with extreme care. The day of judgment arrived. Jerusalem burned with tension. Smoke covered the horizon, and the people fled amid the chaos. In the midst of the destruction, many wondered if the fate of the ark was tied to the end of the holy city. According to an ancient tradition, the ark did not disappear entirely. Some believe it was carried far away, to foreign lands, and that it still rests, guarded in a stone church, wrapped in light, silence, and mystery. In a secret chamber, barely visible amid the shadows, rests a sacred chest. No one knows for certain whether what it protects is a forgotten relic or the last trace of a story that time tried to erase. Among candles, dust, and ancient relics, a hand unrolls a Hebrew scroll. Every letter, every mark, every stroke seems to hide a clue, as if within those ancient words, the path to what was lost still lived on. The temple remains in silence. Its columns rise like witnesses of a bygone glory, while light falls from above onto an empty space where presence once dwelled. Now only the echo of the sacred remains. An elderly priest contemplates the ark with reverence and fear. On his face, faith mixes with the weight of responsibility. He knows he is not standing before a simple object, but before a symbol of the covenant between God and his people. Meanwhile, the people walk among ruins. Exile doesn't just destroy cities, it also leaves wounds in memory, and with every step over the broken earth, the question remains of what was carried away, what was lost, and what was hidden. Deep beneath the earth appears a sealed stone door. Ancient symbols cover the rock as a warning to the curious. Not everything that was buried was meant to be found. Centuries later, a researcher discovers a false wall in the middle of an excavation. Excitement mixes with silence. Perhaps this isn't just another ruin, but a forgotten entrance that could lead to the heart of the mystery. There, covered by the dust of time, the ark appears. The light of a flashlight reveals golden details dormant for generations. History's most sought-after secret seems within reach, but still not completely revealed. A hooded figure moves forward through a hidden passageway. In the background, the ark remains in silence, as if it had waited centuries for this moment. The atmosphere grows dense, solemn, almost sacred. Manuscripts, maps, and Hebrew symbols fill an ancient library. Every page consulted, every mark studied, every cross-reference attempts to reconstruct what time scattered. The search for the ark becomes an investigation of faith, history, and memory. Behind a sealed door, an intense light filters through the edges. The silhouette of the ark can barely be made out. It's there, but it still won't fully reveal itself. And so, one of the greatest biblical enigmas remains: the Ark of the Covenant, hidden in an unknown place, wrapped in silence, mystery, and reverence. Perhaps it was hidden to be protected, perhaps so it would not be desecrated, or perhaps because the time for it to be revealed has not yet come. Among ruins, manuscripts, caves, and ancient traditions, the mystery of the Ark lives on, not just as a lost relic, but as a reminder that some truths remain hidden until the time comes for them to be discovered. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel and hit like so you don't miss more biblical tales full of mystery, history, and faith. And tell me in the comments, do you think the Ark of the Covenant still exists?